You know, in your opinion, right? Obviously, you can't tell the future, but if Ortiz becomes victorious tomorrow night, or excuse me, Saturday night, you know, obviously there's the top tier, the top 5 guys. You know what I'm saying? You have Crawford, you got the Spence, you got Porter, you know, you have Thurman. You can even throw Danny Garcia's name in there. Giys, Boots Ennis, Vergil obviously is in the mix. You know, how difficult or what do you feel needs to happen, man, in order for those fights to take place? Obviously, there has to be some sort of either a mandatory or it has to. The fans demand it. You know what I'm saying? But I know there's issues within the promotional companies. What do you think needs to happen? And how do you play that out?
The fights with the guys you said that are from PBC, I don't think those fights will happen until maybe the only one is, I think, Vergil Ortiz versus look, Jaron Ennis is probably, I think it's him and Vergil along with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford as probably the 4 best welterweights. I think Jaron Ennis probably beats most of those guys you mentioned. So Jaron Ennis is still young, but the guys that are established, like the Thurmans, Danny Garcia, they're never going to fight Vergil. Those guys know the risk it is to fight Vergil, and maybe for them it's not worth it. Maybe the payday they can get right now, so they could just keep doing what they're doing and fight guys within their own promotion, and they're never going to fight Vergil. The ones that I think could be built up big enough to do is Errol. Number 1, Terence, because Terence is the top ranked. They work with Wonderboy a little bit easier. Terence Crawford, I think, is very likely to happen. After that is Errol Spence, because they're both from the area. So I think that fights with the Mexican fan base that Vergil has. Errol's shown that he could draw crowds here in Dallas as the headliner. Them two at Cowboy Stadium is just perfect. It's too perfect of a matchup that I don't think it won't happen. Both guys stay undefeated. I don't think it'll be at welterweight. Errol has said that if he doesn't fight Crawford next, now he got hurt, but I think he's gonna fight whoever wins the between Ugas and Pacquiao and beat Ugas or Pacquiao for the WBA title. And he said if he doesn't fight Crawford, he's gonna move up to 154. Vergil eventually will move up to 154 as well. And Vergil has mentioned that he thinks that's where the fight is gonna happen. I believe it too, but I believe that fight just becomes too big, that the fans demand it. The area, I mean, here in Dallas at the Cowboy Stadium, it's just a perfect situation for it.
That's right.
And then number 3, I think Jaron Ennis, because they're both the younger fighters, the Delfimos, Vergil, Jaron Ennis, Shakur Stevenson. This young generation of guys, they're showing that they're not afraid to fight each other, to fight the top guys. Delfimo was like 13, 14 fights in, fighting Lomachenko. These guys are showing that they're not afraid of fighting each other. And I think Jaron Ennis is like Vergil and these guys that he will ask for the fight. Because the other guys, like you said, Keith Thurman, never going to fight Vergil. Danny Garcia, Ugas, none of those guys will fight Vergil.
Last question, man. Speaking of Spence, obviously